Hey everybody, Doug and Christy here from The Whole Athlete. Last time we talked about the cost of self-criticism as an athlete. And today we're going to follow up on that video and talk about like what is an alternative to self-criticism. So with that in mind, I think a lot of us athletes and just humans in general think that self-criticism is the only way to get shit done, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, to grow or to develop or to push yourself. Like it's got to be with this like kind of ruthlessness where you're just like
right
picking everything apart.
And I think the myth is that if we let go of self-criticism, we are going to become lazy, we're going to become complacent, we aren't going to grow, we aren't going to progress, like basically like everything's just going to fall apart and we'll just be mediocre blobs, which makes self-criticism fairly compelling because that doesn't sound like a good reality. Okay, that is just a myth, though.
Yeah.
It is actually not the only way, but it is not the best way to grow, to be productive, to chase our dreams. Actually, in a lot of ways, it is detrimental to those things. And we're going to talk about how to do it in a different sort of way. So with that in mind, there's a metaphor that I like to use around this. So we have a dog.
We do.
His name's Boris. He's a corgi. He's adorable and a menace. And I'm sure that a lot of you have dogs. Now, I like to use dogs as kind of parallel examples for us humans because dogs and all mammals actually share a lot of our brains with humans. They share the same sort of emotional brain, and our emotional brain is what motivates us. It is what propels us forward. So they are simple examples, but also really illuminate what is happening for us as humans too. So if you have a dog, imagine, if you will, what would happen if you treated your dog solely with self-criticism. With dog criticism.
With dog criticism.
If you only told them how bad of a dog they were, how they were, doing that wrong, they need to stop doing that, like, what the hell are they doing there? Like,
don't pee on the floor. What's wrong with you? Why would you ever do that?
Right.
You're not allowed on the couch. Knock it off. Get off the couch. Like, don't even look at me when we're at the dinner table. Like, you're not allowed human food. You know that rule.
Now, I think intuitively most of us know if that's all of the feedback that we gave to a dog, it would not go well. I mean, I know our dog is a very sensitive boy, and he would be literally hiding under the bed and
all the time.
All the time. He would never come out. He would be cowering in a corner. And emotionally, that's what happens to us with time too, when we just heap self-criticism upon self-criticism on ourselves. So now imagine, if you have a dog, what the dog would be like if you approach them first from a place of, you're such a good boy. And on top of that, when they did something that was, naughty or disruptive or not good for them, that you called it out, right? And then rewarded them for that. Like, okay, like, you're not supposed to like stare at us at the dinner table. You're not allowed human food. And then redirecting them, and then when they do something different, being like, oh my gosh, you're such a good boy, look at you, you're capable of that.
Yeah.
Right?
And giving them something to do. So like, you can't beg at the dinner table, go to your bed. Okay, good boy. Like, that's where you belong when we're eating dinner. Like,
right.
It actually gives them an option, an actionable option to do to do what you want them to do.
Right. And I know for our dog, like literally this way of showing up with him, he like lights up.
Yeah.
He loves it. He's just like, yes, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do?
Yeah. You're obviously here for our dog training
Yeah.
content.
And it not only like makes our dog feel good, but it actually makes him behave better. It makes him be able to tap into more of his potential. Now, the other thing that's important to just note is we also need to imagine what would happen if all we did was heap positive praise onto a dog and not, give them any sort of feedback when they did something that was naughty or unhealthy or not helpful, right? And then you've got a really naughty dog. I know that our dog
would do anything.
Would
would take over the world.
There would be not in a good way.
Right.
So what we are proposing is this sweet spot in the middle. Works for dogs. It works for humans, it turns out. It's a little more complicated with humans, but literally the very same basic principles apply. Self-criticism causes us to cower in a corner, whether that's internally or literally. Being self-aggrandizing and believing we're the best thing ever in the world doesn't really help us actually like reflect and move forward and learn and grow.
And holistically, it's not great for relationships or
all of those things too.
Life.
Yep. But holding on to this basic belief of, I've got this, I'm good, right? I can do this. And creating space for, okay, what am I not doing to my full potential? Where do I need to grow? Where do I need to learn? Where am I getting caught up? And really actually being able to dig into those places and do them differently from this place of belief, of competency, of saying, okay, I can do this.
Right. Capability. Yeah. And when we're talking about self-criticism, like, I think what we're really tapping into is this idea that that evaluating our performance is one thing, but the way that we do it really matters. That if I am overly critical, if I only see the negative sides of things, so sort of like the frequency with which I'm criticizing myself is too great, or the intensity, the way that I'm saying it to myself is too great, that's when we get into this kind of problematic self-criticism. That there is a way to be like evaluative of ourselves and of our performance, that is still healthy. That, recognizing our limitations is actually super important.
Yes.
But the way that we do it, and I think as athletes, the way that we've been trained to do it is often over-indexing on the things that we do wrong, focusing on those, and therefore we don't see the things that we do right.
Right.
And oftentimes doing it in a way that is really quite extreme.
Right. It starts to erode that baseline belief in oneself. That I am capable, I got this, I can do this.
Right.
Which it turns out is actually essential to do hard things.
Yeah, that's right. Right. So kind of what we're doing in all of this, and this is sort of the foundation, the building blocks of our idea around kind of healthy motivation and self-evaluation is looking at capability, right? Like, we as people all have different attributes and different capabilities. It means that I'm going to be a different type of player than someone else. That's okay. I need to be realistic about that. If I'm not lightning fast, I can probably make some changes to get faster, but I may never be that. And so if my expectation is that I'm going to be a 100 meter runner, like maybe, but I might not, might not make it super far to a super elite level. So being realistic about my capability is really important. At the same time, like we need to have hope. We need to have aspirations, and then we need to be able to reflect on kind of like where we're at. And I think one of the, like, underneath all of that is trying to connect with, like, what do we want, and why do we want it? What do we value? And that is a really durable form of motivation, much more durable than saying like you're not good enough, is saying, no, I really want this thing, and I want this thing for this reason, and I'm going to go chase after it, and I'm going to go get it.
Yes. Yeah. That wanting a want that moves towards something, rather a want that's trying to run away from something.
Right.
I don't want to be told I did that wrong. I don't want to feel like I messed up. Versus I want, like, to win this race, or I want to learn this new skill. I want, like, those are two very different mechanisms of motivation.
And if you think about it, right, like when I say I want to do this thing, like that opens up just like a whole realm of creativity.
For
like,
sure.
I was thinking about what you just said, like I want to win this race, and it's like, okay, what can I do? How can I think about this race? What are the options that are available to me?
Right. Right.
As opposed to like, oh God, what do I need to do to not lose the race? Is like so limiting in a lot of ways.
Definitely, yes. It comes from a place of fear rather than a place of kind of empowerment and excitement and possibility. Right.
And kind of what you're touching on is that, like, oftentimes, and in our last video we talked about this, like oftentimes self-criticism is a sort of like self-protective mechanism, right? It's this thing that like we use, we're like, okay, if I'm harder on myself than anyone else is on me, then like it won't hurt as bad if I make a mistake, or it won't hurt as bad if someone evaluates me not super favorably. And like again, I think it makes sense that we do that. That's like a really natural thing for us to do, but the reality is there's no escaping the fact that sports are a vulnerable thing. That when we are playing sports and pushing ourselves to be better, if we are pushing ourselves to be better in our sport, not just kind of playing it for the sake of playing it, we're actually like pushing for development, we are bumping up against our capability. We're bumping up against failure.
For sure.
Probably more often than not, we are experiencing failure, or experiencing disappointment, and that our self-criticism doesn't actually protect us from that.
No.
We, the more that we kind of try and avoid it by being self-critical, I actually think that we don't give ourselves the opportunity to learn to work with those feelings of rejection, or the feelings of failure, and that actually hurts athletes in the long run.
I mean, it's another myth of self-criticism in sports and any realm of life, that we can actually save ourselves from that
bad feeling,
from that pain. We're actually just preemptively creating it. And like you said, sports inevitably are hard.
They are.
It's a lot of the reason why we do them, and a lot of the reason why in a way they're enjoyable, because it gives us something hard to work at that then we can like achieve and show like, God, look at what I did, right?
Yeah. It's a safe enough place, a safe enough outlet for me to go and push myself and see what I'm capable of.
Right, at its best.
At its best.
Yeah, yes. So kind of we need to accept that is a reality of sport.
Right.
And rather than try to escape it, figure out how to work with that reality.
Right.
That I am going to be critiqued. I am going to fail. I am going to fall short. I am not going to get everything that I set out to do.
Right. And that I'm capable of feeling those feelings and moving through them. They will pass. They're not permanent states for me to exist in.
Right. And kind of developing the muscle, if you will, that it doesn't mean that I am a failure.
Right.
It doesn't mean that
Yes.
I am incapable.
Right.
It means that this is a reality of sport and of life in a way.
Yeah, and that I have space to grow.
Uh-huh.
And kind of touching on that space to grow, like it allows us the opportunity for real reflection,
Yes.
right? Like it is so easy to see all of our mistakes and to coat them in the sort of the like, well, if only I'd known the future, I would have done this differently, and I should have known the future, rather than kind of taking an objective and a balanced and a kind of grounded approach that holds the context. Like, here's what I saw, here's how I thought about it. Maybe I thought about it wrong. Yeah, sure. I need to maybe have more in my mind in the future when a moment like this is happening again. But like, I made this decision for these reasons. Isn't that interesting? And that, I think, allows us to actually learn from moments rather than it just being like a bad thing happened and therefore I must have made a bad mistake to make that bad thing happen.
Right, yes. I mean, it kind of, as we touched on in the last video, that physiologically operating from this state of shame and fear actually shuts down our ability to think in that way.
Yes, totally.
And so learning to not operate from that place of fear actually opens the opportunity to learn and reflect more fully and more accurately. So again, that myth of self-criticism is the only way to learn and grow. Actually, it's preventing you from being able to learn and grow and think through things and reflect on things in a genuine kind of holistic way that you can actually learn from.
Yeah. Now, this all comes with a pretty important caveat, which is it's much harder than it seems. We're talking about it like, yeah, just no big deal.
Yeah.
Neither of us were particularly good at this.
Nope.
It's a practice, and it still is a practice. Like, I still go to pretty critical places a lot of the time, and I think within sport, like, we are evaluating ourselves. We are pushing ourselves. So like, we are coming into contact with failure, and so like, inevitably, sometimes those like thoughts are going to creep in that are like, I'm not good enough.
Right. Yeah.
And figuring out how to kind of recenter ourselves, because it's going to happen.
Right. Kind of like we've been talking about, like, sport is a world, perhaps more than others, particularly if you are in the higher levels, where you are exposed to a lot more critique and criticism and feedback than your average person.
Right.
And it is hard to hold on to a steady sense of like self-belief and self-worth and self-capacity sometimes within that environment. So just to voice, like, this is something that takes practice. It's probably something that will ebb and flow. And it's something that takes having some like kind of compassion and grace with oneself around of like the moments when it is hard, right? That within itself is kind of a practice of letting go of self-criticism, to not be critical when you are critical of yourself.
I'm always being critical of myself.
I know, it gets meta real quick. But I think we get so jazzed up about this topic because it is something that we would have loved to have heard when we were a young athletes.
And like, and I'm thinking like, and had coaches.
Yes.
I mean, I think we've both had really great coaches, but also like, I think having, someone who really was like modeled this, maybe through our teenage years or like through the sort of like, and so if you're a coach, like, I think it's a good thing to hold on to, like,
yes,
the way that you interact with yourself, even as a coach, like, are you getting down on yourself in a way that your players are picking up on if maybe things don't go the way that you wanted, versus having a balanced perspective with yourself too. I think it rubs off.
It 100%. People are picking up on on the things that we're putting out.
On the vibes.
On the vibes.
We're picking up on the vibes.
Vibe check. Yes. So, yeah, I mean, I think our hope is, for some reason in my head right now is just this kind of another myth about this is that, like, if you let go of self-criticism, you are a wuss. You're not tough. And I think, like, what we're trying to elucidate is actually, I think, being self-critical is the easy option.
Yeah, that's right.
And that finding this other way is the hard option. It is the strong option, and it is the one that it's not being soft on yourself. It actually is being like, it's being a lot more like, demanding is the word in my head, but I don't know if that's quite right. But it is really saying, I am capable, and I am going to figure out how to access that capability.
I'm going to chase after
right.
that.
It's actually like asking a lot of ourselves rather than giving ourselves a free pass to just whatever, right?
Yeah, totally. It makes me think a little bit about this quote that my mom used to have on her mirror, which said, "We must all have the courage to be imperfect." And I think it is courageous to stare our limitations, our disappointments, our imperfections in the face, and not look away, and not turn to self-criticism, not turn to something that is more like really shame-based, but to really say, okay, this is how I played. And maybe that college coach that I really wanted to, recruit me is going to walk away from this game and say, hey, I don't think we want that player. Okay. I can work with that. I'm not perfect. And I can keep growing.
Yeah. Yes. So we hope that you find
something.
Something.
We hope you find something.
We hope you find something of value in this, as we had hoped that we had it when we were athletes, and good reminders for ourselves even today. We appreciate you tuning in. For those of you who are watching one of our videos for the first time, I'm Christy. This is Doug. We're from The Whole Athlete. We're both licensed mental health therapists, former high-level athletes, and
I'm a soccer coach.
Yep, and researcher on mental health and athletics. And we love providing educational content to athletes that captures a more holistic perspective of what it's like to be an athlete as a person. So if you liked what we shared, please give us a like or subscribe. We put out these videos every couple of weeks, and we hope you tune in.
Yeah.
All right.
Cheers.
Bye.